Well, how about this? Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury got their first NFL win in a game that came down to the wire against the Bengals in Cincinnati. Kyler had just under 100 yards rushing, along with a touchdown and 253 yards through the air. The rookie QB also led the Cardinals on a 2-minute drive that resulted in the game-winning field goal as time expired. Fox NFL analyst Michael Vick joins us now. Good to have you, Michael.
For having me.
How much improvement did you see yesterday in Kyler's performance?
It was a great deal of improvement, and you've seen it in the final drive of the game when he led his team down the field to kick a field goal to win it, and that's not easy as a rookie.
Right.
And even though they're 1-3-1 or whatever the record was at the time, or 0-3-1, he still has to, put this team in a position, carry him on his back the best way he can. And I think in the passing game, he looked just as good as he's done all year. I think he got some help from David Johnson, and the 93 yards rushing was probably the biggest caveat in the game. Putting it on the ground, picking up some key first downs, and using his abilities to put the team in position. That's the maturity. That's what I wanted to see from Kyler Murray. I didn't think he did it enough early in the season, but now I think it's all coming together with the help of Cliff Kingsbury and the offense evolving week to week. Probably seeing some things that's happening around the league with other quarterbacks. It's a copycat league, but it doesn't matter. If you can do it and do it efficiently, then it helps. But I was just impressed with the way he drove the team down the field. And yes, it was the Cincinnati Bengals who are struggling.
Sure.
But regardless of
that's putting it mildly.
Yeah, you still struggling severely. But this is the NFL, and you still have to make the plays that need to be made, and I think Kyler did that in a critical moment.
He did.
I'll give him credit. Winning a road game, as Mike mentioned, is never easy, especially as a rookie quarterback. Going on the road to win is the most difficult thing to do in the NFL. Going on the road to win as a rookie is even more difficult. But as Mike mentioned, it is the Bengals. Skip, you and I used to talk about it for the past 3 years. Everybody, fire Marvin, fire Marvin. I see you guys, you don't remember what the Bengals were like before they got Marvin. Now I bet you there's a bunch of people wishing they had Marvin, because now look at them, Skip, lifeless. I think the biggest caveat in all of this, Skip, Kyler Murray played unbelievable. I thought he was more assertive in his throws, but Skip, 38 rush attempts for 266 yards. That will make a quarterback's job a lot easier on the road.
Who was the leading rusher?
He was 10 for 93.
He led the team.
He led the team in rushing.
He got David Johnson, got 91. Edmonds got 68.
Well,
you can win with that formula. And on the last drive, it's not easy. Game-winning drive, because a lot of things can go wrong. Hey, we tie ball game. They's like, look, I love the scramble. Skip, in the previous game, what he would do, it was like he was trying to prove something. I'm going to prove people that I'm going to probably protection breaks down. I'm going to keep my eyes down the field. Yesterday, he said, screw that. Protection break down, I'm getting up out of here. I'm gone.
Yeah.
He did that on the final drive, picked up 24 yards. He's starting to become more assertive. He's starting to become more sure of himself, not only running the football, but throwing the football, and he got a victory.
Feel for the game.
But they got to improve in the red zone, Skip. Okay. 1 touchdown and 6 chances. They're, third worst in NFL. They're only getting 30% TDs on their red zone opportunities. You won't win very many games like that. You got very lucky that you're playing a team really bad in Cincinnati, but if you go 1 for 6 in the red zone, that's a recipe to get your butt kicked, be at home or on the road.
So 10 rushes for 93 yards. That's kind of Vick-like, right? That's kind of, that's like the Michael Vick experience-like stuff.
It
right?
is.
Yeah. So just for the record, just for some perspective, Cincinnati rushed it for 108 yards, and Andy Dalton threw for 262, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. So it wasn't like they were that awful.
No.
They're still a legitimate pro football team, albeit a struggling one.
No, they're just a pro football team. They ain't legitimate. They're just a pro football team.
I think they're legitimate. So I told you that the biggest achievement of the year to me so far, as far as an upset goes, was Arizona in a rookie's debut at home, his first NFL start. They tied a Detroit team that has proven to be pretty good, right?
Fair, yeah.
Yep.
And they did it because Kyler Murray in the fourth quarter and overtime threw for 238 yards in that game. I'm just talking about the fourth quarter and overtime. He's 20 of 29, and obviously they decided not to go for broke at the end, and they just They just settled for
Play
the
for
top.
time.
Okay, and you couldn't really condemn Cliff Kingsbury because he might have thought this is the best shot we got at anything, right? But they did go to Cincinnati and win. And by the way, they went to Baltimore in week 2, and you watched that game against Lamar Jackson, and Kyler hung in there pretty well, and they were still in the game midway fourth quarter. And then they had tough home games against Arizona and Seattle, and he didn't look so good because Arizona and Seattle have pretty good defense.
Yes.
And they were all over him. And I agree with your point. I kept saying, run, just take off.
Right.
Because that scramble that he made in that last drive, if we could see that again, that was vintage Oklahoma Sooner Heisman run. Because that's what he used to do.
Right.
He averaged 100 yards a game last year by doing that. And you know what I love about this little man, and he's a little man, he's never in harm's way to me.
No.
And you guys say, well, he can't take the punishment up here, and he can't unless he avoids it.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's got that built-in sort of self-preservation mechanism in his brain. I don't know what it is. You didn't always have it, especially in Atlanta. You took some shots. You took some shots in Philly. But this little man, because he's always been, as Cliff Kingsbury said, he's always been little.
But you know,
right?
sometimes the guys fall into the trap where he has to learn to throw the ball from the pocket.
Yeah.
And before they mature, they start hearing that, and it's like, okay, I'm going to be a pocket passer. That will come over time.
Yeah.
Steve Young had to learn that. Those are traits that are young.
I got it. Robert Griffin, I kept saying, he is so gifted. He's an Olympic, what was he, a hurdler?
Yeah, he was a hurdler.
Yeah. But he's got Olympic kind of burst to him. And when in his rookie year, he would run, and then he couldn't figure out how to get down. I don't know, like some guys say, I just don't know how to slide. They brought in one of the Washington Nationals, the coaches, to say, get down.
Yep.
You know, you got to start like this. You put one foot out in front of the other, and you slide across the grass. Kyler can really get down. You saw him at the goal line.
Yeah.
He's just gone. It's like a
Wilson-like.
disappearing. Russell Wilson like
But Skip, normally guys that slide are not that fast. They don't be running fast like Mike Vick. They don't run fast like a Robert Griffin III. Most baseball players don't got that kind of legit speed.
No, that's
similar to Russell Wilson. I think if anything for Kyler, what he would look back at this game and see, and even if he watched Russell Wilson last week, which I hope he did, it was probably as good a job as the guy controlling the game, running the football, passing the football, protecting himself as I've ever seen.
Okay.
And I wish I could have done it like that. But if Kyler learns to play that way, he'll come out of this game learning so much more as far as what he can do with his abilities and how he can change the dynamics of a game, running and passing the football, always pass first, but then using his running abilities as an opportunity to keep the chains moving, keep the opposition off the field. He'll learn about ball control.
And yet, don't tell me he can't throw at this level, because that throw he made, if we could see it one more time to David Johnson in that final drive, that's pretty sweet, man. He just dropped it right down the chimney to David Johnson.
In the bucket.
This is a pretty good
Oh, yeah,
throw.
that's a bucket throw.
And he's a great thrower. I mean,
But, you know,
That'll work.
the thing that concerns you, Skip, I don't think anybody said he couldn't throw. The question was, can they protect him long enough so he can have time to throw? In that situation, they locked it up pretty good, gave him a clean pocket. But for the most part, he hasn't had an opportunity to throw the football because they haven't given him a whole lot of time to throw it.
Yep. So who had the most targets? Larry. Good old Larry Fitzgerald.
Larry
But he's,
Fitzgerald still.
he's long in the tooth. He's getting near the end. But that's all you got right now. You got to throw 8 targets to Larry Fitz.
Right. I still want to see him come up out of that spread formation a little more and get up under the center and, just run the football. Maybe two backs, single back sets. It's going to make a difference for him in this
game. A language Cliff Kingsbury has never heard before.
I just don't know how many games you can win and how successful you can be long-term, Skip, without letting the quarterback get up under center. And even Tom Brady, Skip, they throw a lot from the shotgun.
A lot.
But he gets up under that center. When that rubber check the Super Bowl. When the rubber needed to meet the roll, he got up under center, and he turned around and handed it to Sonny Michel.
Okay. All right, well, let's look for his second career win. Next week, they host the Falcons. So.
Oh, the Falcons are a mess. The Falcons are a mess, Skip.
Oh, man.
Another team.
Don't talk about my Falcons.
They're about the 5-day queen.
Yeah, boy. You're going to stick around, Mike, for this next one. We are going to grade Dak's performance. Jennings, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Greg. Good morning. Great day, Greg. Congratulations to the Packers.
I'm glad you're here, Greg. I want to hear your biggest takeaway from that one.
My biggest takeaway, honestly, this Packers team is really good. And I honestly don't know if the Dallas Cowboys team can play to the level that I thought they could against the elite of the NFC. And the reason why I say that is they struggle in areas that you have to be great. When you've paid your offense